great student. She graduated in 2001, and probably in the following fall after she graduated, I got this letter.
So the letter that I received was from about 15 years ago. I had a student who was really interesting in my class.
One of the first students I had as a freshman and as a senior. It was just a lovely way to cap off our time together.
The gist of the letter was just, how she felt about being in here, the style of teaching that I did, that I was easy to engage with as far as the kids are concerned, that I was challenging.
I think the thing that really gets me is you get to hear that you changed somebody's life, that the pathway or the trajectory that they're on changes because of your interaction with them.
I was warned about this student. So, meaning he was a big troublemaker and was going to cause all kinds of trouble in my class. Turned out, I didn't have any trouble with the kid. As a matter of fact, the student scored 100 on the first test I ever gave. So I actually called the parent, and the dad answered the phone, and I said, "Hi, it's Mrs. Holmstrom. I'm calling from Sumner High School." And the dad said, "This is a joke, right?" "No, this is Mrs. Holmstrom. I'm calling from Sumner High School. I called to let you know your son scored 100 on his test." And it took me about 5 minutes to convince the dad that I was really the teacher, because he'd never received a good call ever about his son.
She says I was the best science teacher she ever had. I mean, that's a pretty big compliment right there. We've talked several times during her college career. We got together after she graduated. She keeps in touch with me on Facebook. It's a friendship. It's a good thing. It's really rewarding to get that acknowledgement and to see that all the work that you put in makes a big difference. So.
The first sentence, it says, "Dear Mr. Thompson, you've been the most influential teacher I've ever had." So, kind of gets me right now. Interesting. And so it goes on. It's a nice letter. It makes a good point. Talks about who I am as a teacher. It's just feel good.
When the kid graduated, I got this letter from his dad. And his dad said, "I just want to take this opportunity to thank you for the work you've done with my son. I'm sure if you knew of his background, school has not been one of his priorities, but he's brought up his grades from a low C to nearly all A's. I think your communication efforts only played a part of his new attitude towards school. He tells me he's planning on taking higher math classes. He's also told me that you explain math in a way that is understandable by him. And even though he probably wouldn't admit it, he enjoys your class, and that is accomplished by more than mere letter writing."
There can be some really lonely parts of teaching. Who knows what time of day it is, and you're grading papers, and that's a lot of hard work. It can get tiring and discouraging at times. But when you've got kids that are excited to come to class and know that it's a good place for them to be, and even reveal themselves and feel safe enough to share really tough stuff with you, you just get reminded enough that you're making that difference, that it's worthwhile, it's unique. What other venue do you get to help so many people in such a positive way? You don't have that range of influence in a lot of other places. So it works out. You're tired, you're discouraged, you're overwhelmed, but you're also richly rewarded by what happens in your classroom and outside your classroom.
It just made a huge impact on me. And I was, pleased that his son continued on and actually excelled and has come back to visit me periodically over the years.
And I just appreciate the letters students write, because the work is hard that we do, and you just never know which ones you get through to and which ones you don't.
Probably been at least 10 years since I've seen her. The letter's a little different. You know, I would enjoy having a conversation with her. I wouldn't bring up the letter necessarily. I might tell her that it's framed and on the wall, and she'd probably be embarrassed about that. It's not the type of kid that she was. I say kid. What is she? 30-something now with a family. I guess kid's the wrong term. It's the only letter from a student that I have up on my wall of various plaques and different things over the years. And I get stuff from kids, but you know, some of the things are really special. And I'll keep this, and then when I retire in about 6 years, I'll take it with me.